Hi, this is Jessica Hoover, and this is my presentation on our inquiry lab that was asking us to design a water filter. So I started out just kind of rough designing what I'm thinking it should look like, and I gathered all my materials and I kind of thought through what I needed to use. I actually didn't use everything on the list of materials, but I think I could play around with it some more and maybe incorporate some of those other materials as well. So after I designed it, I began to prepare. So based on the hint that we were given, I mixed the alum powder with the dirty water before I was ready to pour it through the filter. And so I stirred it for 2 minutes and I let it sit. And you can see in the top right, after 10 minutes, it was really starting to separate and the dirt was starting to settle. And then the bottom right, after 15 minutes, it really separated and kind of cleared up the water, which actually was really impressive. I had never worked with alum powder before, so that was kind of cool. And then while that was processing, I started to assemble my filter. So I used a rubber band to hold a coffee filter onto a cup to collect the filtered water. And then on top of that, I placed one other cup and I layered in that cup the charcoal and then the rocks and then the sand and then the cheesecloth. And I kind of did this based on the design of how like the Earth's structure is. And I wanted to try to collect as much dirt from the beginning so that not as much dirt was falling through to the bottom. And then I used the charcoal on the bottom to help just really clean up that water that was going to be coming through it. So after the 15 minutes, I poured the water through, and you can see that up here there's a lot of dirt that has collected on top of the cheesecloth and the sand, which is exactly what I wanted to happen. And the water that I got out was really clear. I was quite impressed with how well this actually worked. Another thought my daughter had, she was working on this with me, and we had thought about separating the materials into individual cups and using push pins to kind of hold the cups up from each other. And it was a really slow go. You can see dirt collected here on top of the cheesecloth, but as the water went down, it kind of got stuck here in the sand, and it was a really slow go, much slower than the other filter we had done. But it did work. We did get clearer water out, but I don't think this was probably the most effective design. So in reflection, looking at this table, I think that this whole process would fall in the level 1. We were given the materials list and we were given an objective, but we were able to determine our steps and our process for solving the problem. So things like this often frustrate me because I really like to just have a plan and follow the plan and see what happens. So having to really think about it definitely stretches me, and I know that that would stretch my students as well. I actually did something similar to this in December. I did a PBL group that was focusing on the nutrition of water, and out of that discovery, they decided they wanted to build their own water filter. So this is actually what they came up with. They designed one in a bottle, and you can see dirty water, pouring it on top, getting somewhat clear water out. So this, I didn't give them anything. They had to do all of the research and determine what materials they wanted to use, which ones they didn't. They didn't use charcoal. They didn't feel that cheesecloth was necessary. So they kind of experimented with it and created this. And so it was really fun to be on the other side of that and do it myself. So thanks for listening.